And welcome back to Blue Shirts Buzz, where we talk everything New York Rangers. I'm your host, Matt Piscazzi, and sadly today I'm without my co-host, John Horton, my guy, my lovely co-host here. I'll get into that a little bit into the episode here, but thank you all for catching another one here. Definitely check out our socials at BlueBuzz26 on X there, Twitter, whatever we're calling it these days, and we'll get right into it today. So, like I had just mentioned, unfortunately, my wonderful co-host, my guy Johnny is out today. Just some time and stuff, some stuff with work came up, and work comes first. We love doing this, but of course, work and life has got to come first sometimes. And nonetheless, I'm here and rock a good solo one for you guys. Get some stuff out there. Touch on all the things we wanted to touch on today briefly, and of course, me and John will be back next week. We'll get together, touch on some of the important stuff. Both of us get his thoughts in as well. And next episode as well will be for us, and fortunately for some other teams it won't be, but for us will be officially the off season. I am recording this today on the day of the last day of the regular season for the Rangers. Got the Lightning tonight. So next week we will start getting into some the off season stuff. We'll do some player awards, ratings for the season, best player, worst player, stuff like that. And that'll be a nice way to roll us into the off season where we will have a ton of stuff to get into and get into in some great detail. So like I said, I'll preview a bunch of stuff here, get my thoughts out. A lot of what I'm thinking, I think you guys are probably thinking as well. This has been a pretty terrible year, all things considered. So yeah, we'll get right into it. Just going over the last few games for the Rags. We lost to the Flyers 8-5 for some reason. I don't even understand. And then if this isn't the epitome of what this team did all year, we crushed the Isles 9-2. You go from losing 8-5 to the Flyers to a 9-2 victory in a meaningless game against the Islanders. Well, not really meaningless at the time, but obviously we know now that was very meaningless. To then follow that up with a 7-3 loss to the Canes and then a 5-3 win over the Panthers. Not really adding up. I mean, it's the last few games of the season. Canes and the Panthers, of course, made the playoffs by then. Maybe resting some guys, things like that. Guys aren't as motivated. They're kind of looking towards the playoffs already. So there's something to be said about that. But still, just like just so up and down. I mean, you go 8-5 to the Flyers, lose 9-2 win over the Isles, 7-3 loss to the Canes, 5-3 over the Panthers. Up, down, turnaround. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. Don't really understand it. That's kind of been the story with this team all year. Don't really understand how we got here. The fact that we're here is still kind of just insane. No playoffs for us. Obviously, the Canadians actually secured their spot last night with a really big win for them over the Canes, who are kind of resting some guys, not really playing as many of their top guys there. But Canadians needed that win to get in. And with that win, they got in, and the Blue Jackets are out. So the playoff bracket is actually set, which I will just get into real quick here before I start getting into Rangers Town. So in the West, the Jets are playing the Blues in a 1-4 matchup. In a 2-3 matchup, we have the Stars hosting the Avalanche. In a 1-4 matchup, we got the Knights hosting the Wild. And in the other 2-3 matchup, we have the Kings hosting the Oilers. When I say hosting, I mean obviously they're the top seed. They're not hosting the whole series, but they will get games 1 and 2, 5 and 7 if they do need those games. In the East, we have the Maple Leafs as the 1 taking on the Sens. We got the 2-3 matchup with the Lightning hosting the Panthers. This is the spot we would have been in. Capitals in the 1 seed hosting the Canadians. And then in the 2-3 matchup, we have the Canes hosting the Devils. So, I mean, some pretty good matchups here. Me and John will definitely touch on, the results of those games, those series, everything like that as we get further into the playoffs. But we're here to talk about the Rangers, sadly, given how everything happened here. But the big thing I got to touch on here is goodbye to Sam Rosen. So tonight, I'm getting like chills talking about it. It's insane. It's crazy. But the man has had such a wonderful career. Tonight will be the end. I mean, this is the last game in his 40th year. He's officially retiring. This will be it. Him calling the game against the Lightning tonight. And I'm working again tonight. I had worked the last couple nights. I'm working again tonight. I am just deeply saddened. I'm not really going to be able to catch the game. Any of the game that I would be able to watch while I'm at work, I can't even have the volume on. So I don't get to listen to him call the last game. Of course, I'll catch a replay or something of it. There's no way I'm not hearing his wonderful voice one last time. There's no way I'm not listening in, hearing the things that are said, and just the reverence for this man who's just had a wonderful career. There's really no other way to put it. I know I'm not in this boat alone in the fact that he's been the only voice I've known as a Rangers fan. Obviously, Joe Micheletti and guys in the studio and everything, but he is Sam being the guy. He is literally the voice of the New York Rangers. I mean, when I think about the Rangers, I hear his voice. It's a power play goal. I mean, it's just it's chills, it's goosebumps, it's electric. It's memories of watching games as a kid, listening to his voice. Becoming a serious fan of this team. Sam was a huge part of that for me, and for a lot of people. Again, I know I'm not alone in the fact that he has been the voice of this team for me. He's the only voice of this team that I've really known my whole life. Again, guys in the studio, Joe Micheletti. I don't want to say there's not other guys involved, but Sam is the voice of the Rangers. He's the spirit of the Rangers. He loves this team. The energy he's brought every night to the games. I mean, he is passionate about this team, the players, the organization. He's not just some guy on a mic. He believes in this organization. He's a fan of these players, of this organization. I mean, the things that he says about the players and everybody that he gets to interact with behind the scenes, you get a sense for his love of the game. I mean, he loves the game. He loves to be around the game. He has talked about it a million times. He loves to be with the players, to meet with the players, to get to know them. The players really, really love him. They build good relationships with him. I mean, I think it's a testament to just how good of a man he is, as well as just a good hockey guy he is, that, every team he was visiting with this year, they know, it's his last season. So in all of those kind of like last away games we played, teams did tributes for him. Behind the scenes before the games, he's meeting with guys on the team and members of the organization, coaches, GMs, presidents, things like that, and they're giving him signed jerseys. The players are honoring him. I mean, it's not just our organization; it's the league as a whole. I mean, this man is for 40 years been the voice of the New York Rangers, and he's done a wonderful job. And again, he's a wonderful person, and it really reflects on the mic. So it's going to be sad not hearing him. Which gets me to his replacement, who it's been announced that Kenny Albert will be his replacement. He was kind of my favorite pick in terms of like the real horses in the race. I mean, there were some other names out there, but they were just kind of thrown out there. I would have been a fan of Bob Wischusen as well, but that was one that was just kind of floating around as like a maybe, haha, that'd be cool. Nothing really concrete there. It was always kind of pointing towards Kenny, if I'm being honest. He's done radio for the Rangers for a little while now. I mean, he does national stuff as well. So there are going to be points where he's going to be broadcasting other games, doing other things. And at that point, I believe his fill-in is going to be Alex Faust. Let me just make sure I said that name right. Yes, who I'm not familiar with, like, at all. Um, Young guy, does play-by-play for TNT and MSG. I don't know. We'll find out. He's going to be Kenny's fill-in at times this year, and I'm sure he'll do a great job, or he'll do a great job. We're going to find out, and we'll all be on this trip together. But yeah, just wanted to say goodbye, Sam, one more time. I think me and John will probably talk about it ad nauseum as we go through the off season, and especially next year when we start listening in on games and his voice is not there. It's going to be very apparent. But yeah, goodbye to Sam Rosen. Hello to Kenny Albert. We'll be on this ride with you guys. We'll see how it goes. Kenny is, I do have to give him props. He's good at what he does. Very good replacement. Not that you could ever really fill the shoes that Sam Rosen is leaving behind, but again, happy with the pick, all things considered. Before I get into a little bit more of the talk, getting into the off season, season wrap up kind of stuff here, I just want to get a word from our wonderful sponsors, DraftKings. Today, we're actually talking about the NBA playoffs coming up, as well as the NHL playoffs are going to be coming up as well. Obviously, that's what we're here talking about, but you guys watch basketball too. I mean, I don't know. I've mentioned it a few times here. I'm a Celtics fan. I'm looking forward to the playoffs. We got a pretty good outlook here. If we don't win the chip, it's honestly kind of disappointing. So I'm looking like a happy camper here. I don't know about you guys. A lot of you are probably Knicks fans who are probably going to get knocked out by us, if I'm being honest, or the Cavs, but we'll see. Nonetheless, the NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw dropping plays. I can't wait. Hope you guys are in the same boat. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30, 40, 50? It's your call. Here's something special for first timers, too. If you're new to DraftKings, you could bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Yeah, I am very excited for the NBA playoffs. Honestly, I'm a little bit more excited for the NBA playoffs at this point than the NHL playoffs. The Rangers not being in the picture makes it really sad. I mean, obviously, I'm going to watch. Who doesn't watch? There are sports fans out there who, if they watch hockey, only watch the playoffs because there's nothing like playoff hockey. I mean, it's incredible. We've talked about it before. We certainly will continue to talk about it. I mean, everyone's gonna be talking about it. But yeah, definitely more excited for the NBA playoffs, considering that my C's got a pretty good chance to win the chip here. But getting back into the Rangers here, just to kind of put a bow on this season here. Obviously, I have one more game tonight, but it's been a terrible year, all things considered. Just the lack of motivation, the lack of drive, the consistent poor performance from our guys in the top six. You get into the coaching and the inability of Laviolette to get a handle on these players, motivate these guys, put a system in place that these guys can properly operate. Obviously, I don't think all of the blame is on him, but I would be surprised if he's coaching the team next year. If I'm being honest, it does look like he's kind of out the door. Drury putting up the for sale sign, not a great move there. Killed the locker room. And it just kind of painted a picture here and contributed to some of the really poor roster management and asset management in general. I mean, when you look at the way Carson Soucy's playing and you consider that was a third round pick that went out the door for us, and he's also playing over Calvin DeHaan, who played much better in the 3 games that he played versus like the 12, 15 games that Soucy's played. I mean, it just doesn't really add up. That's a third round pick that we aren't getting back for a man that is not going to play defense for us next year, if I'm being honest. I mean, and if he is, what are we doing as a franchise? So I don't even know. I'm not surprised. I mean, he might play for us. We're not really doing much as a franchise at this point. And we're just constantly giving up assets and not really getting the return. I mean, us as a franchise, we haven't been able to develop our own prospects. But at this point, when we're doing things like this, we're running the team in this manner. We're seeing, us and other fans and other teams, other executives, they're seeing the same things that we are. So it kind of makes New York Rangers not really a great destination for aging veterans and free agents. Who is going to want to come to this team when they see the way it's being managed, when they see the way it's being run? And oh, by the way, today it comes out that apparently Panarin, there's these allegations out here that he had sexually assaulted a employee of the MSG Sports Network in December of 2023. Some of the details are still kind of coming out. It's a little bit murky. It also does seem like the employee kind of reported it at a point in which she was also getting in trouble because she had was supposedly under investigation because she had given some of her prescribed anti-anxiety medication to a player who also had a fear of flying, because she did travel with the team pretty frequently. But it's just another mark on a terrible year for this franchise and just contributes to the story that, what are we doing? What is this franchise doing? What is the plan moving forward? Is there a plan? I mean, everything's up in the air right now. So moving into this offseason, we're going to talk a lot about, free agents, trades, guys that are probably not going to be on this team anymore. But it begs the question, how are we going to get guys in the door? That's really what it's going to come down to. And, obviously trades are a different story. It's not like the guys that are getting traded here really have the option to say no. Certain situations, obviously no trade clause, no move clause, things like that. But for a large majority of those guys, if their organization makes a trade with our organization, you're coming. And that's it. It's, you're playing for us. But when you get into the free agency market and you get into, us bringing some of our young guys up through the pipes and trying to develop those guys, it just puts a sour taste in the mouth for some of these players. And I really doubt that marquee free agents are going to want to come here in the way that they would have wanted to come here years ago. And that sounds crazy because we won the President's Trophy last year. Again, this team is shambolic right now. It is in total disarray from the roster management, the front office, up and down the lineup here, up and down the organization, which leads me into a point here that this is per Vincent Mercogliano, who's a great reporter. If you're a fan of the team here, if you're on X, I'm sure you see plenty of his stuff. A lot of what he says is very reliable, and these came right from him. It's looking very unlikely that Drury's going to be fired. Supposedly, he had mentioned he was not able to get enough return for Kreids before the trade deadline, so he opted to try and move him this offseason. It does look like it's probably happening. We're probably saying goodbye to Christopher Crides, which is going to be sad when it happens. But if it's part of the retooling of this organization, if it ends up meaning a lot, to kind of the development and the future of this team, well, we'll see. That there's a lot to be said about that. We'll certainly get into that in some of our offseason discussion. But additionally, there were 4 names mentioned that were basically like going to be here next year. Everyone else, it was like, who knows? Those 4 names were Igor, Adam Fox, JT Miller, and Vincent Trocheck. Supposedly, if anybody else is, dealt, moved, whatever, it wouldn't be a surprise. Sounds surprising to me that some of the names like Alexi Lafreniere, Braden Schneider, some of our younger prospects that are coming up here, Gabe Perreault, like I would imagine that some of those guys, Jonathan Quick as well, I don't think we're going to deal him after signing him to an extension to be a very good backup for us. He played really good minutes for us this year. Like there are other guys, Keandre Miller, I would imagine is going to be here if they're able to reach you could probably get him at a lower price point on an extension because he didn't really have a great year. Like there are guys that are going to be here. Let's be real here. But, with all of the question marks surrounding this team and this organization, I guess that, we're going to kind of have to buckle in because it's going to be a roller coaster ride, ladies and gentlemen. That's really, I think, the best way to put it here. Me and John will obviously get into all sorts of offseason stuff. And I think, like I had mentioned in the beginning of the episode, next episode, we are going to start getting into player ratings, awards, things like that. There will be no shortage of offseason discussion. We'll be here every week. Towards the summer, we may do like every other week at some points, depending on vacations, work, things like that. Just to, offseason does slow down a little bit as well. But yeah, plenty of things for us to talk about. So stay tuned. We'll be here. It's just absolutely crazy. I mean, I'm looking at my notes here and my head is just spinning with just I don't have a word. I don't have a word to describe how I feel about this team right now. A lot of words are floating around in my head right now, and I can't really put my finger on one particular word. I just, frustrated, disappointed, upset, surprised, worried, uneasy, unnerved. I mean, none of these words are positive, and I'm usually the optimistic guy. I believed in this team. I believed that we would clutch it out in the end, and quite frankly, they let me down. As a fan of this team and this organization, I'm always going to tend to believe. I always tend to be a little bit more optimistic as well. But yeah, they kind of crushed all of my hopes and dreams in that regard, and I'm sure a lot of your hopes and dreams as well. This team has been far from perfect, and far from what we expected from them this year. Again, they won the President's Trophy last year, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a team that is scraping the bottom of the barrel year in and year out. This is a perennial contender, a team that has made the playoffs every year, 4 years, with the exception of 1 year, what was like 6 or 7 years ago. And then we bounced right back into the playoffs, slowly started making our way back up into the, Eastern Conference Finals, second round, things like that. You don't expect to watch playoff hockey and not see the New York Rangers there. That has been a key, mark of this franchise for years. But it's brought us to this point. Just dumbfounding. If I had to pick a word there, I guess it just kind of came to me. I am dumbfounded at how the season progressed, how the offseason last year moving into this year went, how some of the moves went this year, just some of the lack of motivation, the lack of drive, the inability of the coaching staff, poor management up and down the organization throughout. It's just been, pardon my French, a little bit of a shit show. Sorry, folks. And then you get into like more recently with the Gabe Perreault stuff. You bring the guy up, you're going to burn a year on his entry level contract. You play him for a couple games, then you scratch him to play him for the last 2 games of the year anyway. Don't really get it. It just makes absolutely no sense. Oh, and then you put Brett Berard in the Isles game for the first game he's played in a few games, and he scores 2 goals and he had a great game. Oh, but then we're going to like cry about how Brendan Othman hasn't really scored too much. Meanwhile, the guy's involved in practically every play when he's in the offensive zone. And he actually skates and plays hard on defense as well, which is shocking. But let's not play him consistently. Oh, we're out of the playoffs. We're booked. We're cooked. Why are we not just playing all of our young guys? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. They waited until the absolute last minute to say, hey, let's start playing some young guys some more. And then, oh, by the way, pulled the plug on it, switched it up. Let's play those vets more. because that makes sense. Let's play those vets more, vets that might not even be here next year because of how crappy this franchise has been. But let's throw them a bone. Let's throw them 20 minutes, not the young guys who are going to be the future of this freaking organization. I mean, there's a pattern. There's a reason we're not developing our young players. Where is the playtime? Where is the special team time? Where is the dedication and the commitment from the coaches? Where is the trust? Because it's not there. Look at how Kako was handled. Look at how Laugh's been handled. It's absolutely insane. And obviously, some of this stuff comes down to the player's talent as well. But it's just another example of poor asset management, and really just poor management in general from the coaches, the GMs, the organization. That just, I mean, I don't like to sound like this. I don't like to be this guy. Again, I like to be the optimistic guy, but just after the way this year has gone, looking into this offseason, looking at prior years and the way that things have gone, and the patterns of behavior and decision making that we've seen from this organization, they paint a really ugly picture. And that sounds, again, crazy to be saying those things about a team that won the President's Trophy last year, made the Eastern Conference Finals, and has been a perennial contender for years. But that is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. And I think I will end the episode on that right there. I don't know if I really don't know if there's anything more poignant I could say about this team. That is where we are at. And getting into the playoffs in the offseason here is going to be incredibly bumpy. Like I said, strap in, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a roller coaster ride. We'll be here along with it, right, or along with you guys on that ride. We'll be here again every week, every other week, getting you guys content. Plenty of stuff to talk about. So stay tuned. Thank you all for listening to me get on here and gab and chit chat and go on for about 20 minutes or so. Definitely missed my guy today, but John and me will be back together on the next one. Stay tuned for that. Again, we'll get into the offseason ratings, player ratings, awards, good, bad, the ugly, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just thank you all for the love and support. We always appreciate it. We appreciate all of you that stick with us through the bad, come, in and out when you feel like it, stay when we're good, go when we're bad, whatever it is. We appreciate all of the listens, all the views, all of the support. Anything that you guys want to show, any kind of love you guys want to show for us, we will always appreciate it. Definitely, get on there, get on X, interact. John does a great job on the socials, the production. Got to give all that credit to him. But we will still be here. We will still be covering all this stuff for you guys. We hope you guys will be here enjoying it with us. But yeah, thank you all for listening to me gab here. Look forward to getting back with John next week, and I hope you guys are looking forward to that as well. But thank you. And one more time, goodbye, Sam. Slash will hear me on this one, guys. Thank you.